it finally happened. I finally got a VGEN code. Shout out to Render Brush who gave it to me, an amazing artist, and I'm very grateful. But the problem was my profile looked absolutely trash, and mainly because I didn't have a good profile picture or a suitable banner. So obviously I wanted to take this opportunity to show off my art skills, which is why when I opened Procreate, I started to begin my sketch. And I can't lie, I struggled with the sketch for a little bit, because I was just wondering, what exactly am I supposed to do? How do I make a unique banner which represents myself? And I did something a bit unusual. Instead of fitting with my usual complex style, I decided to go with something a lot cleaner and a lot simple, which will show off my line work and my colours. But what exactly am I supposed to do? So I thought about it and I decided I would create a kind of mascot. So I started to sketch out a character, and I was really struggling with a face shape at first because I wasn't sure what direction I was going in initially. But I decided to finally have a character with their face facing a bit to the side, and I wanted quite like a smug look, which was quite approachable. I wanted to make something cutesy, like, because, well, my art style does lean more towards that aesthetic. But the problem was I didn't just want one character on the banner, I wanted something a bit more dynamic, which is why on the bottom corner I also decided to draw a little chibi, and I wanted to frame this in a way because I wanted my banner to be very structured, which is why I put it in like a little square with it looked like a picture book which you like flip through when you have memories. I don't know what that's called, but I thought that looked really cute. Anyways, so yeah, once I was done with the sketch, it was time to move on to rendering. And not gonna lie, the rendering process was a bit rough. And that's all because the way I took my approach towards rendering is because I took a long time on it, I can't lie. What I did was, instead of putting the opacity of my sketch lower and then going on a layer above and then doing, you know, the line art, what I decided to do instead was to thin out the lines and then sculpt them, which is something I do, but it took so much time, and I can't lie, it was completely unnecessary. So that was a mistake, which I would not do again whenever I draw in this style once more. I began choosing my colours. The colours were a bit tricky initially. I didn't really know what I wanted, but I know that I wanted to include both blue and pink. That's why I decided to make things more like pastel. That way it's easier on the eyes, which complements the simple style which I was going for. For the shading, I basically did nothing. Yeah, I don't even know how to describe what I did here. I just kind of put a few darker shadows in some certain areas. I didn't really add any highlights except from the eyes, but I did that a bit later. Once that was done, I moved on to the chibi. I basically just used the symmetry tool for time, and yeah, I switched symmetry tool on and off whenever I was drawing his hair, for instance, and the hand, and other details such as the like hair accessories I had on him, and it ended up looking quite good. It's a bit not typical of my usual style, but it's still quite similar. It's because I do on-base chibis for my adoptables, which I sell. And I could have just used a template for that, but I decided to just not do that because I also do sketch pages where I also go off my template, and I thought that would be good to showcase different ranges of my art. Yeah. I then started to render in the other elements. I used a sketchy brush and a brush which was more uniform. The angel wings that I did draw at the moment, they looked horrible, so I do redraw them later because yeah, they didn't look uniform enough. I wanted something more uniform, as the character which I also drew there was more uniform. And I wanted to make the text look a bit interesting I didn't want just a block text. And the problem with that is because I wanted more pastel colours, as I said, like predominantly. And the issue was that it was illegible due to the contrast between the text and the background. This is why I just copy and pasted the text and I shifted it a little bit to the side and I put an outline on it and I hid the fill. And I made it a darker colour overall. That way it's still legible, but it's still overall light and it still resembles the character where I use darker line art. And then on the inside, I choose light colours. So I felt that was quite good. And yeah, I completely didn't find any textiles which I liked for my name. I did want like a curved one, a decorative typeface, but I was too lazy, as I said. That's why I chose Procreate in the first place. So I decided to draw it by hand because it looked like it was a little note page on the background. So that was a good opportunity to do that. Afterwards, I just put the final touches in. I kind of just did whatever. I put a few dots in the background, a few sparkles around it. I put a little border around. But yeah, this was my first long form video. If you have any video suggestions which I should do, or if you did like this video, please let me know because I would be happy to make more. Yeah, please interact to support me, I guess, and thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.